The first time I heard the word, I didn't realize it would change both our lives. It happened on Outpost Helios 9, a quiet refueling station floating between two dead stars. I was there because I liked quiet jobs, maintenance contracts, long shifts, no people asking questions. Humans weren't rare in space anymore, but we were still watched, observed. The galaxy had learned, sometimes the hard way, that humans were unpredictable. That night, I was recalibrating an atmospheric regulator when the station's alarm chimed once. Soft. Not an emergency. A docking request. Unscheduled. Moments later, the station AI announced a single occupant. Non-hostile. Injured. I found her in docking bay C. She was tall, almost my height, with skin that shimmered like polished moonstone. Her eyes were large, luminous, and unfocused with pain. Alien armor lay cracked around her torso, scorched by plasma burns. I had seen her species once before in briefings, the Lyrathi. Diplomats. Philosophers. Not soldiers. She collapsed before I reached her. I dragged her into the med bay, adrenaline pushing away fear. Her physiology was similar enough that human med gel worked, though I had no idea if it was the right thing. She stirred as I sealed the last wound, her fingers curling weakly around my sleeve. "Stay," she whispered in broken galactic common. "I'm not going anywhere," I said without thinking. That was the word. Stay. Her eyes snapped open, focusing fully on me. For a moment, I thought I'd made a terrible mistake. Then her face glowed, not metaphorically. Soft bands of light pulsed beneath her skin, like dawn through clouds. She stared at me, stunned. "Repeat," she said urgently. "The word. Say it again." I blinked. Stay? The light intensified. Her breath caught, and for a second, she looked like she might cry. "You do not know what you speak," she said, voice trembling. Over the next few days, as she healed, I learned her name was Salith. She was a cultural envoy, attacked by pirates who wanted to ransom her memory crystals. The Lyrathi stored parts of their lived experiences biologically, knowledge, emotions, history. She'd ejected her escape pod and drifted until Helios 9 caught her signal. She also refused to leave. Every time I suggested contacting Lyrathi space, she gently but firmly changed the subject. Instead, she followed me around the station, watching everything I did with open fascination. Humans fascinated her, but not for the usual reasons. "You speak words casually," she said one cycle as we shared a meal, nutrient paste for her, reheated curry for me. "Words we reserve for binding." "Like what?" I asked. She tilted her head. "The one you said. Stay." I shrugged. "It just means don't go." "For us," Salith said softly, "it means I choose your presence over all futures where you are absent. It is spoken only during life bond ceremonies." I nearly choked. "Oh, I didn't mean..." She raised a glowing hand, stopping me. "Intent matters, but meaning matters more." From then on, she kept asking me to say it. At first, I refused, embarrassed and uneasy. Humans had a long history of accidentally offending or seducing other species. But Salith wasn't offended. She was hopeful. "You do not owe me the word," she said one night, sitting beside me as stars drifted past the viewport. "But when you say it, my mind resonates. My people believe resonance reveals truth." "Truth about what?" I asked. "About the speaker," she replied. "Humans are loud inside, but you're quiet, steady." When you said stay, there was no fear in it. I thought about that long after she went to rest. I was quiet because I'd learned to be Earth had taught me that promises were dangerous. People left. Systems failed. Empires rose and fell. The safest thing was to expect nothing. But Salith expected something. The turning point came when a Lyrathi cruiser arrived unannounced, docking with authority codes that overrode Helios 9 systems. Armed envoys marched in, their expressions grave. Envoy Salith, their leader said, bowing, "You are to return immediately. The council is concerned." Salith looked at me, fear flickering across her glowing skin. "I am safe here," she said. "I choose to remain." Murmurs rippled through the envoys. "Remain," the leader repeated. "With a human?" I stepped forward before thinking. "She's not a prisoner. She's my guest." The envoy studied me like a curious insect. Human words are unreliable. Salith took my hand. "Then ask him for one." They did. "What binds you to her?" the leader demanded. My heart hammered. I knew what they were asking. I knew the weight of the word. Salith met my eyes, not pleading, not commanding, just present. For the first time in my life, I didn't think about endings. "Stay," I said. The word echoed through the bay. Salith's glow flared brilliantly, filling the room with warm light. The envoys recoiled, stunned. Sensors wailed as energy readings spiked, not violent, but profound. "She is resonant," one whispered. "The bond is accepted." The leader lowered his head. "Then by our law, she may choose her path." The cruiser left without another word. Afterward, we stood alone in the quiet bay, my hand still in hers. I didn't know if I could say it. I admitted. "You said it anyway," Salith replied, smiling. "That is why it mattered." Months later, Helios 9 became something else. A meeting place. A neutral ground. Humans came, curious Lyrathi followed, then others. The word spread, not the literal word, but the idea behind it. Humans, they learned, spoke promises lightly. But when we chose to mean them, when we chose to stay, it wasn't ritual or biology. It was will. And in a galaxy full of ancient species bound by tradition and fate, that made humans terrifying and beautiful. Sometimes, when the station is quiet and the stars are bright, Salith still asks me to repeat the word. Not because she needs it, but because I choose to say it. "Stay," I tell her. And she does. The Lyrathi scholars debated it endlessly. Other species studied the sensor logs, the energy surge, the impossible resonance created by a human word spoken without ceremony or genetic compulsion. They searched for technology, for hidden power, for some secret humans must have been hiding. They found none, because there was none. Humans did not bond through light or ritual or inherited memory. We bonded through choice, through stubborn, irrational loyalty, through words we said without realizing how heavy they could be. Salith chose to remain with me, not as an exile, not as a curiosity, but as an envoy of something new. She helped build the Helios Accord, a quiet agreement that turned our lonely station into neutral ground for species that had never trusted one another before. When negotiations grew tense, when ancient grudges resurfaced, someone would always glance toward us, toward the human who stayed, toward the alien woman who glowed.